Hey guys, it's Kaylee. I am back with another what sold from last week video. Every single week I come on and I share what is selling well for us on eBay and Poshmark. Those are the two platforms I sell on, so that is what I like to share with you guys. Weeks have been still very up and down. I've not really seen a beginning of the year quite like this. Can't say I'm loving it, but we are doing everything we can to maintain steady sales, and when one week is slow, we try to come back with a bigger week. I think a lot of it is just transitioning into this current season. Just realized one of my lights is going off back there. But yeah, I think it's just sticking to the season. I think every time you transition from cold to warm weather and vice versa, you see a big shift in obviously what people are wearing. And that change sometimes happens gradually and sometimes it happens rapidly. And I think this year it just happened very rapidly. And I think that's why we are all struggling with sales. Plus, you know, people have less money. People are waiting on their tax refunds. It all goes together. But stay positive because I think everything evens out. All right, into the sales. So the sales we're going over today happen between March 17th through the 23rd, which means I'm pretty sure I am all caught up on what sold video. So hopefully we never get that far behind again. Very excited to be caught up. In total, last week, I had a really decent sales week. My total items sold were 254 items. That was split between eBay and Poshmark. I sold 100 on eBay. I sold 154 on Poshmark. My total gross item sales were about $7,900. My overall average sale price between the items that sold on both platforms was around $31, so a lot lower than we would like it to be. However, per usual, eBay continues to be really great selling, you know, my newly listed items at full price for an average sale price of around $41 on eBay, which is fantastic, and I'd love to get both platforms there. And then on Poshmark, my average sale price, not bad for Poshmark, was around $24. So hopefully I can continue to move out those older items where, I made mistakes as a newer reseller, flush those out so that there's nothing but what I would currently pick up in my store and in my Poshmark closet. So we're going to dive into these individual sales. Had a lot of really high value sales on both platforms actually that I can't wait to go over with you today. So lots of new brands. This first one, I think I have mentioned this one time in the past, but it is still a very new brand to me. It's called Alex of Bohemia. If you're just listening and you're not watching, Alex is spelled A-L-I-X. And very interesting pieces. I doubt it's a brand you're going to come across very often, but I would be aware of it. Gives me kind of Magnolia Pearl vibes a little bit more rare, but kind of simple, slightly oversized. This was a size extra large, oversized tunic top, has a little heart on it. Like I said, gives me very Magnolia Pearl vibes. Sometimes it could be overlooked. I listed this pretty high at around $200, and this sold on an offer to watcher for $170. This did take several months to sell, but totally willing to wait several months in order to make those kinds of profits. Next up, I am still selling handbags, shoes, accessories, not just clothing, everything associated with it. This is a category that I look for a lot are backpacks. I've seen a lot of people are opting for backpacks or sling bags versus the traditional handbags, shoulder bags, crossbodies, things like that. So I have noticed if a brand sells well, it sells extremely well in backpacks, and if a brand doesn't sell well, their backpacks actually might have 100% sell-through rate. So it is a factor that I am definitely looking for. This is obviously a good item, right? It's a Coach pebbled leather backpack. Did have some slight wear to it. We did pay up for this one. We paid $25. I listed it at $125. It sold on an offer to watcher for $106. And this one took about a month and a half to sell. Next up, this is, I don't know if you guys remember this. Last year, I listed this May 16th of 2023. So it's been, not quite a year, but close. If you guys remember, I think I titled this like, did I pay too much on this thrift haul? I'm pretty sure this was part of that haul. So this is a Lily Pulitzer size 8 Kathy Schiff dress in a size 8. It was new at tags. The suggested retail price is close to $200. and I paid a lot for it. I paid $45, which I'm pretty sure is the most I've ever spent at a thrift store, especially for a Lily Pulitzer dress. So I definitely took a risk, but looking back, I probably would not have made those same decisions because this took, again, almost a year to sell. It did end up selling for an offer of $100, so I turned 45 into 100. I definitely doubled my money, but I had to wait a year to do that, and I could have reinvested excuse me, that money into, other items that would have sold quicker and returned that investment much faster. So I don't think that I'll be doing that again. I don't normally like to pay up for items unless I know I can quick flip them. And holding on to things for a year is definitely not something I want to do. But sharing this mistake with you, I absolutely did pay too much. So I answered the question in that haul about a year later. Next up, this is a bolo for me. It is Victoria's Secret, especially vintage labels, silk maxi or midi length slip dresses. This one is a beautiful red gown style. It's technically a slip dress. People are wearing them, as gowns or dresses. Very trendy item right now. This is something I am willing to wait on too, because I do think it has to be the right buyer. This one actually sold fairly quickly within about a month and a half. I listed it for $115. It sold on an offer to Watcher for $98. Like I said, took about a month and a half to sell, which is really great for an item like this. So yeah, Victoria's Secret silk slip dresses, particularly when they are midi to maxi length, can perform really well. Next up, this is a brand that retails for quite a bit, but does not always have the best sell-through rate and doesn't usually sell for a lot. It is Colombia. However, this one had a lot of factor stacking going for it. It was one new with tags. This one retails $450. It was kind of like a puffer omni heat jacket, and it was plus size. Plus size in Colombia performs really well. So all those factors, I decided to risk it. I paid up for this one as well. I paid $24 and I listed it for $90. It did sell for my full asking price, and it only took a couple of weeks to sell. So this would be a case where making the investment to pay up and flip it super quickly is worth it in my opinion, but not waiting a year. To each their own though. That's just my business model. Next up, this is a brand I would pick up in pretty much anything. It is Toaden. This brand performs extremely well in anything. I've sold robes, I've sold stuff with stains, I've sold dresses, I've sold tops. This is a brand I feel like that can be overlooked because of the simplicity of the item. If you don't know to look for this type of item, they kind of have like a Edwardian minimalist look to them, very feminine features. This one's called the Peony Mini Dress in a size extra large. It did have light stains throughout, so I priced accordingly. I listed this for $100. It sold on an offer to Watcher for $85. And let's see, this one took about 2 months to sell. Guys, I'll have to excuse my voice. I've been recording all day and I feel like I'm losing it. This next one is a pretty interesting sale. This is vintage A Gold E. Now, funny enough, I sold this and somebody else found this and reached out to me. I was like, is this the same brand as the Goldie jeans? I don't believe so, but now I'm kind of questioning it. Maybe it is. But look at this item. Very nice Y2K dragon mesh top. I mean, this is just screaming everything that is trendy and aesthetic right now. If you guys come across any like mesh kind of sheer tops that are truly vintage or truly Y2K, I would highly recommend looking into them or consider picking them up. It is a very trendy style right now. Keyword disco, that's probably one we should have put in the title. Just a very trendy aesthetic. Look it up. This one we listed pretty high just because we thought it was such a unique piece at $65. It sold on an offer to Watcher for $55, and it sold the next day after listing it. So absolutely keep your eye out for stuff like this. I'm not really sure if this is a brand specifically to look for, but definitely the style in general. Next up, this is another vintage piece. This is Carol Little, which they sell like a lot of vintage dresses, things like that. This one was a particularly special piece because it is a very beautiful cottage core quilted coat, also a larger size in a 2X, just a gorgeous piece all around. Again, as I say in pretty much every What Sold video lately, if you see something super unique, that's what people are going for. They want standout statement pieces. This one sold for my full asking price of $60. It did take a couple of months to sell. Next up, this is a designer brand, Nilly Lotan, that performs pretty well. I would say that this brand does not have a 100% sell-through rate, but is one that I'm willing to sit on. Specifically, their military looking kind of jogger style pants are still performing very well. This is one I paid up for. I paid $20 for these, listed them for $75. They sold pretty quickly for $64. They actually sold the same day that I listed them, so fantastic return on investment. These keywords here, French military pants and the double knee, are something that you guys might want to look into as keywords for stuff like this. Next up, this is a brand that has a really good sell-through rate. It is Porto San Francisco, kind of an, I guess, under the radar kind of brand right now. These pieces are known for like travel wear, you know, easy to put on, they don't wrinkle as much, so I think that's what this brand is known for. These are a pair of their black travel joggers, and they do have their own size chart, so something to be aware of. I listed these for $60. They sold for my full asking price, and these ones did take several months to sell, but for full asking price, I'm totally okay with that. Next up, this is not a 100% sell-through rate denim wear brand, but depending on the style you have, can perform well. It is, I don't know if it's just AMO or AMO. Either way, this brand retails for a ton. Definitely not a good sell-through rate on most things. These ones are called the Painterly Pant, and we noticed that they had a pretty decent sell-through rate, so we got them. We listed these jeans for $50. They sold for full asking price, and these ones took, let's see here, these ones took about a month to sell. Next up, this is also kind of a disco vibe. You can see it's got the mesh material here. Again, very trendy aesthetic right now. This is a designer brand, Helmut Lang. This is a men's mesh t-shirt. I listed it for $60. It sold on an offer to Watcher for $51, and it took a few months to sell. Next up, this is a newer brand to me called, I think it's pronounced pelagic. They make like board shorts, and very, very high sell-through rate on these shorts. We've sold a couple of them now. These ones we listed for $45, and they did sell for our full asking price, and they only took about a month to sell. Next up, this is a brand, not 100% sell-through rate. It is Custo Barcelona. They make kind of like Y2K, well, it is a Y2K brand, I believe, pieces. Depending on the piece you have, if it's super unique, I think it can perform well. But overall, in general, I would not pick up everything in this brand. This one we listed just because it was so unique and artsy for $45. It sold for our full asking price, and surprisingly sold the same day that we listed it. Next up, this is a great brand to look for in spring and summer. It is Jam's World. They make basically Hawaiian pieces. Their dresses in particular can sell pretty quickly. This is a Jam's World tank dress in a size small. I listed it for $45. It did sell for our full asking price, and it sold the very next day after getting it listed. This is another designer brand. This is St. John, their basics line. This is their Santana knit, and that is their like fabric that they're known for. So anytime I find a brand with their core fabric, I always make sure to put it in the title, and it typically increases sell-through rate and increases the value of it. This I listed, it was a pair of like just black pants basically in Santana knit. I listed it for $40. It sold for full asking price. This one did take several months to sell. I would say in general, even if it's Santana knit, that this brand St. John does not sell very quickly, but it is one that I am willing to wait on for the right buyer. All right, here's a newer brand to me. It is Silo. We have talked about, goth niche brands before. I definitely think this falls under that category. So anytime I see something super like, seems like a, you know, one-off brand, niche goth brand, I always look it up. This one has pretty good comps. This is a micro mini skirt, and I listed it for $40. It did sell for full asking price, and it actually sold the very next day after getting it listed. Another athletic wear brand I like, Vuori. I talk about this, I feel like, in every single What Sold video. We do sell a lot of Vuori. I actually sold mini joggers this past week. I only chose to show you one. Very high sell-through rate, sells for great money, even pre-owned, so definitely keep your eye out for that in both men's and women's. These were a pair of women's performance joggers, and if you guys didn't know, if you still have the rip tag, which I know sometimes you don't, there is a style number. And so this VW303 right here is your style number, so you can figure out exactly what it's called. And I think they're similar to Lululemon, where this W, or sometimes it's an M, indicates the gender of the item too. So if you do have the rip tag still, lots of good information you can pull from that. So like I said, these are called the women's performance joggers. Looked up the style name for those. We listed for $50. They sold on an offer to watcher for $42, and they only took, let's see, they only took 5 days to sell. Right, this is just a little sweatshirt, kind of vintage. I'm not sure how old it is. Sweatshirt. We do live in Ohio, so I find out a lot of Ohio State gear. This was a super cute Ohio State mom sweatshirt. I just thought it had a really good aesthetic to it. We listed this for $40. It sold for our full asking price. This did take a few months to sell, however. Talked about this brand before. This is Lunya, Lunya. This is a very trending brand right now. They sell a lot of silks. They sell mostly like pajama loungewear, but they also have just some like basic silk shirts that sell well. I think what they're known for is their washable silks. Let's see if it says here. Yeah, hand wash or machine wash. But I found that everything I found silk wise in Lunya has performed very well. This is a button front pocket silk top. I listed it for $50. It sold on an offer to watcher for $42, and it only took a couple of weeks to sell. This is a brand I'll get in plus sizes. This is Calvin Klein, a floral midi dress in a size 18W. So a lot of factors going for this one. We listed this for $40. It did sell for our full asking price. However, it did take several months to sell. This is a very new brand to me, and I would highly recommend learning this one. I don't know how to pronounce it. I'm going to do my best here. It's Swedish Dogs Mayhem. Merino wool jogger pants. They make very like loungy, high quality material clothing and really great sell-through rate. These ones we listed for $40. They're a pair of joggers, and it did sell for our full asking price. They sold the exact same day that we listed them. Next up, this is not a brand that has 100% sell-through rate, but depending on what you have, if there's enough factors, you can sell it pretty quickly. This one did take several months to sell for me, but all in all, good return on investment. This is Torrid, known for their plus size pieces. This is a larger size in a size 4X, which is definitely going to increase sell-through rate and value. Plus, it is a longer length midi dress with long sleeves, so like tons of stuff going for it. I listed this high at $35. Like I said, it did take several months to sell, but it did sell for full asking price. Another brand that performs well in dresses during this time of the year is Talbot's, specifically in larger sizes, and you want to try to get like bright multicolors. This like kind of Lily Pulitzer looking stuff performs very well on just about any platform in the brand Talbot's. I would just say you want to try to have like a size large and up, and then of course in plus sizes. This is a size extra large women's knee length dress. Again, got that bright multicolor pattern to it. We listed this for $40. It did sell for our full asking price, and it took a few months to sell. This is an outdoorsy wear brand that performs well for me every single year in both men's and women's. It is Cool, Kuhl. I listed these back towards the beginning of like fall winter, which is why I think they took so long to sell, because we're just now coming into that season where you can wear capri pants. So these are a pair of women's cool capri hiking pants, and they sold for my full asking price of $34. I pretty much pick up anything cool for the most part, men's, women's, during this time of the year specifically when hiking is really popular and it performs really well. This is a brand that you might want to look for in graphic t-shirts. It is Daydreamer. Sometimes it says for free people, sometimes it doesn't. Either way, it performs well for me. This one did take several months to sell, but it did sell for my full asking price of $35. This is just a Journey band tee graphic t-shirt pre-owned. Like I said, kind of a higher quality graphic t-shirt brand, but it performs really well. I can usually sell it for between 30 and 40 bucks like this one sold. Here's another brand I like getting in plus sizes. This is Ralph Lauren. It is a 3X women's linen top. Usually I can get about 20-25 bucks for Ralph Lauren pre-owned tops. However, if there are extra factors, I will start adding a few bucks. So this one we priced up because of the linen and the fact that it was a long sleeve t-shirt. Listed this one for $30. It did sell for our full asking price. This one took a couple of months to sell. Next up, we have Clara Sunwoo. This is a brand that retails for quite a bit and does seem to have a following. It falls under that like mature, artsy kind of brand. Sorry if you guys hear my dog barking in the background. There must be somebody at the door. But in plus sizes, this brand, the sell-through rate starts going up and it sells a lot better. This one was a larger size. We estimated it to be a 1X, longer length, shark bite hem top. We listed it for $30. It sold on an offer to watcher for $25, and it sold just 2 days after being listed. So again, Clara Sunwoo in the larger sizes is definitely where it's at if you want to sell something quickly. Next up, this is Lululemon. I think we all know Lululemon, but I think a lot of people have stopped picking it up because it's kind of oversaturated. But once again, just wanted to share that the shorts are performing very, very well. And if shorts is a category that you often skip at the thrift store, at least blaze through it and see if you can find a pair of Lululemon shorts, because they usually sell between $30 and $40 pre-owned, again, depending on style. These are called the Hottie Hot shorts, and we listed them for $30. They sold for full asking price the exact same day that we listed them. Next up, this is a brand that performs well for me, especially in dresses. This is Toaden Co. Very outdoorsy, hippie-ish brand. This is a tank top dress. I listed it for 25 bucks. It sold for full asking price, and it took a couple of months to sell. I've shown this brand, I think, for the last, I don't even know how many what sold videos, but very great brand that is known for their linens and their log and look styles in spring and summer. Flips very quickly. This is a Flax 100% linen tank top. This one's just a size small and it's just a tank top, but we listed it for $35 and it did sell for our full asking price, and it only took about a week to sell. Next up, I am showing another Old Navy dress because people still don't believe me that you can sell Old Navy dresses pre-owned. I do try to stick to more substantial pieces where they're longer length or they're tiered or they're multicolor, but I don't know. I don't know what it is. Sometimes you can just get away with it. So this is a size XXL. I do try to stick to larger sizes. This is an Old Navy chambray dress. So the fact that it's chambray and it's a larger size, I think pulled the sale through. We listed this for $30 pre-owned. It sold on the offer to watcher for $25, and it sold just 2 days. Just 2 days after getting it listed, guys. Please, if you come across Old Navy, larger size dresses, obviously do your comp, make sure you got enough factors there, but I can flip them usually between 25 and 30 bucks pre-owned. Next up, a brand that performs well in plus sizes is J. Jill. This is just a 1X, which once you get to 2X, 3X, sell-through rate starts going up. But this one had enough factors going for it. I thought it'd be worth getting. Nice green color, floral print. We listed this for $30. It did sell for our full asking price, and it took a couple of months to sell. Next up, another brand I like getting in plus sizes, but you have to factor stack. It is Catherine's. This is a 2X. It's new with tags. It's a beautiful lacy like tunic top. I listed this high because it was new with tags and a more substantial piece at $35, and someone accepted and offered a watcher of $30. This one did take several months to sell. I've mentioned this in pretty much every What's Sold video for the past few weeks just because we've been selling so many of them. Loudmouth golf shorts, and I don't think we got a good picture of it, but the liner of the shorts also says Loudmouth. Very vibrant print golf shorts. These are watermelon print. We listed these for $30. They did sell for our full asking price of $30. And these ones only took about a month to sell. Next up, this is a definitely under the radar brand that performs very well in plus sizes. This is Cooko Woman. I've even been able to sell, depending on the piece, in plus size in Cooko Woman, close to $40 pre-owned for their tops. This one only sold for my full asking price of $30, but it was a 2X. And again, I think this brand kind of flies under the radar, and you can find it pretty often. So this one again sold for full asking price of $30. It sold the very next day after getting it listed. Here's another Flax Ting top. This one is a larger size. We listed this for $30. It sold on an offer to watcher for $25, and it sold 2 days after being listed. This is more bread and butter for me. It is James Purse. This is their line Standard by James Purse. This is kind of like a capsule minimalist wardrobe, kind of like neutral colors usually, but makes high quality stuff that people love brand. And they have their own size chart, so make sure that you figure that out before listing. You can see that a men's size 2 is equivalent to a US size medium. I don't usually flip these for very much, usually like $25 I would say is my average sale price for pre-owned James Purse in both women's and men's, but they are very consistent sellers and I come across them pretty often. I listed this pretty plain brown men's t-shirt for $25. It sold on an offer to watcher for $21, and it sold the very next day after getting it listed. Another bread and butter, Talbot's plus size again. This is a women's top. I mentioned that the dresses do really well, but also the women's tops. This one's not bright multicolor, but it is 3/4 length sleeve. It is a blue and white paisley print, so I thought I had enough going for it. Listed this one for $25. Someone sent an offer for $20 in messages, which I went ahead and accepted. And let's see, this sold within just about a week of being listed. Moving on to the Poshmark sales, some of the more full price. Remember, most of my Poshmark sales are older items that I'm clearing out, but every single week on the What's Sold videos, I try to pull the ones that are selling for the higher prices for you guys, so you know what's selling well on Poshmark. This is a Patagonia men's t-shirt. It was called the Pataloha t-shirt. I pick up a lot of men's graphic Patagonia t-shirts, and I can almost always flip them for $25. A lot of people price them much lower and sell them, but I've always been able to get about $25 for them. So this is one of those cases. This one sold actually for $30 on Posh. This is Doc Martens, still a very popular brand. I just thought I would show you these because these are not your typical Doc Martens where they've got that contrast yellow stitching. So if you didn't like really know the brand, you might have passed on these. So I just thought I would show you these because they don't always have that contrast thick stitching. These are just a pair of sandals. We listed these probably close to $75 and accepted an offer of $65. Here's a pair of women's jeans in a brand that I would definitely look for. R13 retails for a lot. I would say the sell-through rate does not move very quickly, but they're worth waiting on. And a lot of times they have this like distressed, dirty look to them, and that's actually how they are manufactured. So keep your eye out for that, so that you don't list it as, you know, or I guess not being intentional. So these are called the Kickfit Tompkins jeans in a size 24. You know, pretty small size. And we ended up accepting an offer of $73 on these ones. Next up, this is a brand I don't get a lot of anymore. It is Madewell. However, some of their shoes, they make some really high quality leathers and they can perform well. These are called the Francis Leather Loafer Mules in a size 8.5. They did have a couple of slight wear throughout, but they sold for $34 on Poshmark. Here's a newer brand to me called Judy Rosen. I would definitely memorize this brand. Pretty high sell-through rates, and I guess there's not much to go off of on as far as comps, but the ones that are selling for quite a bit. I kind of made up a price with these. These are a pair of high-rise jeans. They've got a little buckle in the back, and I accepted an offer of $65 on Poshmark. They did sell very quickly, and I had a lot of interest on eBay as well. Sold this Gunny Sachs kind of cottage core set recently. If you guys see Gunny Sachs, I would definitely look it up if it is, you know, kind of that prairie cottage core style. So this is a two-piece skirt and top set in a junior size 7. I think we originally listed it for around $125 or $150, and I accepted an offer of $100. This surprisingly did sell, I think, within a couple of months. Usually with stuff like this you have to wait for the right buyer, but this one actually sold pretty quickly. Next up, this is an Anthropology dress, especially in larger sizes and longer lengths. In this case, this is a maxi dress in a size extra large. Absolute yes for me. Enough factor stacking there in this brand. This dress sold for $40. It was called the Maria tiered maxi dress. This is more of a bread and butter brand for me, and I exclusively pick it up in plus sizes, but they do perform pretty decently, usually $20 to $30. Foxcraft. This is a 20W chambray top, pre-owned. It sold for $26 on Poshmark. This is a brand that definitely does not have a high sell-through rate. It is Theory. However, depending on the piece and waiting for the right buyer, you can sometimes get quite a bit for the brand because it does retail for a lot. This is a Theory women's asymmetrical midi skirt in a size 2. Again, not everything in this brand, just certain pieces. And this sold for $42, which I thought was pretty good for Theory. Here's another brand who sells high quality leather shoes, but their clothing doesn't always flip quickly. It is Everlane. These are called the Day Glove Flats. Highly recommend keeping your eye out for not just in this brand, but the style in general. Seems to be very popular amongst a lot of brands. These sold very quickly at $42, even with a little bit of wear. Next up, this is Prana, and I just thought I would show you guys this because we are selling a lot of swimwear right now, and I always keep my eye out for one-piece swimsuits, especially in like outdoorsy brands like Prana. This is also a larger size, in a size XL, and pre-owned. It sold for $30. This is a fantastic, one of my all-time favorite brands, especially in the men's department. It is Taylor Stitch. Very high sell-through rate on this brand, so I pretty much pick up anything I come across. I think the brand as a whole has 100% sell-through rate. It is a menswear brand. And this is just a men's button-down gray shirt. It sold for $51 on Posh. This is a brand that performs very well in spring and summer because it is known for their sun protection. This is a UPF shirt, Coolabar. And I always try to include UPF in the title as well. This is a women's long sleeve shirt. It sold for $35. They also make like dressier looking ones, which also perform very well. This is a brand that does not have a 100% sell-through rate anymore, but if I wait for the right buyer, can sell pretty decently. It is Wooden Ships by Paula Buendia. This is just actually a cotton acrylic, which usually they make you know, more luxury materials like wool, merino wools, and things like that. I originally wanted to get this one just because of the summer spell out. Beachy sweaters are very trendy right now, especially ones with graphics and, you know, spell outs or little animals or something on them. So I thought that this fit that aesthetic. Surprisingly, this particular sweater did have a decent sell-through rate. I listed it, I think, for $40, and I think this was my full asking price. So I think it was a full price sale on this one. This has been a brand that has been surprisingly performing well for me in specific pieces. Zara, I kind of gave up on this brand for a while, but their wide leg jeans have been performing very well for us. These are called the Marine Straight jeans. They've got a little bit of wide leg look to them, so I'm not really sure why they call them the Marine Straight, but you know, whatever, the brand can make up the styles that they want. Super Barbie core with the pink jean, and these sold for $40, which I thought was great for pre-owned Zara. This is an interesting sale. This is a vintage brand. I don't know if it's Lorelei or Lorelei. Either way, this is a vintage 80s prom dress, which I just think is a very unique and gorgeous piece. This surprisingly sold relatively quickly given that it did not have a 100% sell-through rate and that it was, you know, formal wear. It ended up selling for $79 on Poshmark. This is a brand I pick up every single year, Birkenstocks, and pretty much all their lines. As long as the tread is in pretty decent condition, even if the footbeds have a little bit of marking, I still get them and I can sell them very well. It is Birkenstocks. These are the women's Arizona sandals. They obviously have wear throughout them, and they sold on an offer for $56 pre-owned. This is kind of a niche category that I've been selling a lot of. Vintage Y2K cargo pants. These are a pair of vintage American Eagle women's cargo pants, but they are a size 12. Very unique designs to them. They sold for $30 on Posh. Here's another Calvin Klein plus size item. This is a kind of sweater dress in a size 3X. It sold for $30. Here's a newer brand to me. I would definitely keep your eye out for this. It is Oska, O-S-K-A. These are a really interesting pair of like balloon style crop jeans. I've been talking to you guys a lot about this style. I think the last What Sold video, we talked about this like barrel or balloon style of jean. These are becoming very popular, so keep your eye out for those. This one was like the balloon leg style. These sold relatively quickly for $70, so definitely keep your eye out for Oska. Next up, this is the brand Masuk. This is the higher end line. The exclusively Masuk, I believe, is their diffusion line, unless somebody wants to correct me. So if you just see Masuk, this one says Masuk collection, you're probably looking at more money than the exclusively Masuk. Either way, both of them in plus sizes perform very well for me. This is a sweater blazer in a size 2X, and it sold for $45. And we talked about backpacks earlier. This is a Michael Kors mini monogram backpack. I almost left this behind at the thrift store because they had just put it out, and I noticed that there was quite a bit of wear on part of the edges. So I made sure to notate that, but it still sold for $54. Like, imagine if I would have left that behind just because of that slight wear. So a lot of people looking for backpacks, both large size, mini and midi, in these popular brands. So keep your eye out for those, especially in brands like Michael Kors, and I think Coach was the other one I showed you. And lastly, this brand I pick up on everything and always sells very quickly. It is Reformation. I've been selling a lot of their skirts lately, which is not typically a category I look for in most things, but I'm trying to keep my eye out for the Reformation skirts. To be honest with you, they don't feel very high quality. They're kind of thin. So as I am looking at the thrift stores passing by, I try to look for this cut, I guess, of Reformation skirts. So Floral mini skirt size 0. I think I listed it around $35. It sold on an offer for $27.
Okay, so that's it for What Sold Last Week. I hope that you guys enjoyed watching. If you are not already and would like to be, don't forget to subscribe down below. Hit the notification bell. That way you'll be notified every single time I post these videos. You know, if that's something you want to be notified about. Love to have you guys on the channel, and comment down below because I'd love to chat with you. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.